Hello everyone, welcome back to the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. I hope you are doing well. I am Clady and I'm your host for these 2 weeks of Illustrator fun. I want to say hi in the chat. I can see so many people hanging out here. I can see Andreas Holler, Angie, Mustafa, Swani, Nick, Anthony, Aaron Nace is still in the chat. Aaron, another amazing stream. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. I was here working and getting my files on point and I was watching your stream. Always very amazing and helpful. But before we dive in and learn more about this challenge, this Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge that is running already on day 3 now, let me just jump into the schedule because as I said, we just finished to watch the amazing Aaron from Learn, but you already had a very busy day here on Adobe Live. No matter the lockdown, here you cannot be alone. As you can see just here, there is a huge amount of creativity happening during the day, starting from the morning at 7:30 a.m. interior design with Spencer in Photoshop. That was also mind-blowing and I was watching it while I was working. Also Premiere Pro with Jason. That's another Daily Creative Challenge, the first of the day. Then you have the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge with Paul Trani, and then photo compositing with Aaron Nace from Fleur, who just finished just before me. And now we are here for the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge number 3, followed by branding and identity with Lena and Julia. They'll be hosting her, and XD Daily Creative Challenge with Andrea Hoke, draw along with Kyle Webster, and design off with Buruval and Chris Burassa. What an amazing day. I hope that I said and I pronounced everyone's names correctly, because if you know me, you know that Italian English accent makes a lot of new word happening during our stream. But I'm gonna jump into my screen because if this is your first day hanging out during the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge, I want to teach you real quick how you can join the challenge. And as I mentioned, today we are running challenge number 3, although don't worry, you can start directly from today and then you can go back and watch the previous challenges. Now, to head to this landing page where you can see on my screen, all you have to do is to head on behance.net/challenge/illustrator. Otherwise, you have a beautiful tab here on top of me, and I believe that in the chat will be shared. I need to lean forward to see the chat here. I can see Dawn, I can see Gregory, I can see my mom in the chat. She's learning a lot of Illustrator apparently and Photoshop. Hey Jennifer, nice to see you here. And Madeline, Juan Miguel. Let me know where you guys are tuning in. I also want to see how far do we reach with this Adobe Live. But let's go jump back into our amazing landing page. As I said, the first part of the challenge is to watch this video, follow along, and then perhaps watch back the stream. Once you head on behance.net/challenge/illustrator, you'll be able to join the challenge by clicking on the beautiful big blue button here that says, hey, take the challenge. You'll be reminded every day until the 8th of May of every challenge here with me in Illustrator. If you scroll down, you can also access the previous video. So as I say, if this is your first day, don't worry about it. You can start from today and then maybe catch up in the weekend. Not a problem. We are 2 more weeks to go until the 8th of May. Also, if you want to make sure that you always keep updated with the challenges, you scroll down on the page and click on subscribe to be notified of any new amazing Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with me or with the other amazing streamer like Julia and Andrew and Paul. And if this challenge is not enough and you really want to keep yourself busy and sharpen your skill into Illustrator by learning new techniques, you can see more challenges, which are the one done in the past, as I mentioned, by Paul, by Andrew, by Julia. Simply by scrolling down, you will access to all the video there and also all the starter file. Speaking of starter file, you might want to head on to challenge number 3 that has been unveiled, is patterns. We're going to talk about patterns today, and you can click on get started in order to download your starter file for your third challenge. here we go, I'm getting confused. So it's challenge number 3. And those are going to be, of course, the starter file for challenge number 3. The second part of the challenge, very, very important also, is the community chat. You can access the community chat by clicking on community chat over here, and you'll be transported onto the amazing world of Discord, which is our community chat. I can recognize many of you here. I can see Jesus from the Milky Way galaxy. It's being funny here. I can see Andrea Soares from Brazil, Madeline from San Diego. Oh no, she misses San Diego. So we have Shelly that is actually from San Diego. Shelly, I love San Diego. I was lucky enough to spend the weekend not long ago, and I absolutely love it. I've never been before. That was my very, very first time, but for some reason I'm drawn to San Diego. What do you think? You think I'll fit in the community there? I'm seriously thinking about it. But I can see so many amazing locations. We can see Lauren for New York City. And very cool. Let's keep going. So I was just talking about this place, which is Discord, that you can see here on my screen. Again, in order to jump into Discord, go to our amazing landing page here and click on the community chat. Or I actually have a link here that I never share, but let me do it today. So if you go up here, and bear in mind, this is AI here, AI Discord, you'll be able to access with an invite to the Discord community. But let me jump back to the Discord to show you what Discord is about. So Discord is the place where you can share your own work and watch the work of the community, and of course ask questions, get to know each other, and spend time with this amazing community of international designers. It's a fantastic place where you can ask advice and really get to talk about design and creativity. You find professional students, again, safe space for you to share your work. And as I always say, this is a safe space, so even if you're not done with your challenges, you simply want some feedback, Julia and Lina will be giving you feedback in the next stream, and I'm always there as a mentor, as you can see here, with Colby, with Andrew, with Jack, Kathleen. We're always here giving you suggestions, giving you any support you may need. So give us a shout, give me a shout if you ever have any specific question. And just the last thing before we get started in Illustrator, so make sure that you download the starter file in the meantime. I wanted to show you where you have to share your challenges. As you can see, let me jump on the other side of the screen here where it says feedback channel, and we have challenge. That's exactly the place where you will post your work into Discord. And all you have to do, very simple, you click on plus, you browse on your folder, and for example, there was my part of yesterday work. You select it, click into open, and boom, it's straight into Discord, ready to get some feedback and advice, or simply idea from your fellow designers here on Discord. But let's start to jump into Illustrator. Hopefully by now you have downloaded your file. I already opened it here. Let's see if there is any question into the chat. We see Felicity from Pakistan. Welcome. Jose from Orange County. Keith. Hi, Buduval. Nice to see you here in the chat. And PM. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with me. Again, if you do have any question, feel free to pop it in the chat. I'll be able to watch the chat on behance.net/live. So if you are following us from YouTube, make sure to head to behance.net/live so I can see your question and answer directly during the live. And if sometimes I miss your question, I'm very sorry. I'm trying to squeeze a lot of content here for you during this challenge, during these 30 minutes of Illustrator fun. So maybe just type it again, and I'll be able to have a look at your question. Or you can always reach me onto my Instagram and on my social media that you find on my Behance page. I'm going to jump there in a second because, as you can see into the file, I provided you some assets. Those were part of a longer Adobe live stream that I've done a few weeks ago with Jesus Ramirez here from Manchester. And we were creating some menus and some more assets for a vegan eatery called Plant. Now, many of you ask me, how do you make the pattern? And if you want to know what I'm talking about, because probably you didn't watch the stream, all you have to do is to head onto my Behance portfolio link, which is at I am Claudia, or Print My Soul. Print My Soul is my studio, I am Claudia is my personal one. Either, it's fine. You'll be able to see the plant vegan eatery project, so you have a little bit of an idea on what I'm talking about. Is this pattern here that was on the cacti here for part of this identity. You can see a little bit more here, and of course the pattern showing into the brand identity. Feel free to have a look at this project, and also if you want to learn more about the project, you can watch the video. I posted the replay there. You'll be able to create a menu for a restaurant. Also, if you want more, you can also head to my iamclaudia.com/resources to find all the assets that I'm talking about during that video there with the Sus. But let's jump back into Illustrator. So we're aiming to create this pattern over here that we saw into our beautiful jaguar, and I'm gonna go into Illustrator to start. Now, before we start with that specific pattern, as you can see, you'll find it here into the layers. Again, for whatever reason you do not have layers showing into your workspace, remember to head into Window. Any panel that I'll be mentioning during these live streams, if you do not have it into your workspace, go into Window and you'll be able to find it into this list. And if it doesn't have a tick, that's why it's not showing. All you have to do is to click on the side in order to make it appear into your screen, into your workspace. Hopefully today we're gonna finish this challenge very fast, because I had a lot of questions regarding how to set up a workspace. And let's see, let me start with this challenge to hopefully see if I can tell you more about that. And by the way, tell me in the chat if you are interested to know on how to set up and personalize your workspace. So I'll try to make time for it if you're interested into it. Perfect. Let's jump into our artwork layer here. So as I said, Window and Layers in order to make sure that we have our panel. And I'm gonna go into the one that is not locked, so the one that says Artwork up here. And I'm gonna then go into my artboard, which I can find on my toolbar on the left, and it looks just like that. The artboard tool, which allows us to create a new artboard. Now, it's very important to start with a new artboard and to be able to create a very specific size. In order to check the size of your artboard, you can go into the properties panel up here, or simply with your artboard selected, maybe a little bit faster, intuitive, click on return, and you'll be able to customize and find the artboard option panel here. I'm gonna use 300 pixels, so 300 px for the width and 7 for the height. And I'm gonna click on OK, and as you can see, the size adjusted accordingly. Then what I'm gonna do is start to bring some of these elements here from the branding that I have, that I shared with you. And all I have to do is to select. Oh, in order to select, we need to unlock the layer. So let's go into Layers, and it says Graphics here is the second one. Make sure that you click on the little lock in order to be able to have a selection. In order to select, click here on the black arrow, or simply press V into your keyboard to trigger the black arrow, which is the selection tool. Now, in order to duplicate an artwork, all you have to do while you have your direct selection tool selected, you have to click on Option or Alt on Windows, and you can see the arrow kind of doubles it into 2, and you can click and drag in order to copy. So I'm gonna start to position my elements into one side and one row. So I'm gonna start with the left and the top. That's absolutely up to you. You can start from whatever you want. So I'm gonna grab this one over here, and then perhaps I will grab this one. So remember, click on Alt or Option in order to make a copy. And because the cacti are on the same shape of my reverted, I can do that by making sure that the object is selected, click on Control, press and go into Transform and Reflect. In this case, it's going to be a vertical reflection. If you're unsure, always click on Preview to see what is happening into your workspace, and click OK. So we reflected vertically our image, just to give it a little bit more of movement so the cacti don't look the same. And as you can see, I'm going on purpose on the other side because I want to make a repeat pattern. And I'm just going to work now on the top. I'm going to have this little element coming up. Probably I'm going to have this one coming up a little bit more. And I'm going to bring these other cacti maybe up here, just to give it a little bit more of movement. Here we are. So I'm almost done. All I have to do, first of all, is to select all the items that stick up from the top. And I'm gonna do that by clicking and dragging with my selection tool, press Control onto the selection and go into transform, move, and you have these little windows showing up. Now I want to move them vertically because I want the leftover of our graphics showing into our square, and I want the exact place where is breaking up. And that's why it's important to set our artboard from scratch, because I know that our artboard is 300 pixel width, 300 pixel height and also width. So what I'm gonna do is to set my horizontal movement to 0, because I do not need to move it horizontally, and I'm gonna set the vertical movement to 300 pixel, basically to the bottom of my artboard. And here it is. As you can see, it already moves. It gave us a preview. Now, of course, we want to keep both. So instead of pressing OK, we're gonna press into copy in order to make a copy. Now, something else that we have to do here is to click and drag and select these two these items that are onto the left. I can already see that we'll have a little conflict over here, but I'll show you how to deal with it in a second. So I'm going to click and select on those items onto the left. I can perhaps I'm going to click and select on all of them and click on Control here, oops, with the item selected, going to transform, move, and do exactly the same thing, but in this case I want the movement, of course, to be horizontal. I didn't check the chat to see if you wanted to know more about the workspace. Hey Steph, nice to see you. Mauro, nice to see everyone. Hi Anna, long time no see. Jacob, nice to see you. Michelle from Oklahoma, nice to see you. And I'm gonna click on copy in order to make a copy. Now, as you can see, this is telling you that there is a conflict. Don't worry, that happens all the time. So you need to decide which one it really works for you. I think that perhaps we can remove this one. So of course, if I'm removing it from the top, I'm gonna also remove it from the bottom. And here it is. We already created something that works a little bit better. We can also see that the space, for example, is over here, but this still is a little bit too big. So maybe we can work with another one, maybe with a smaller shape, just like so. And all we have to do is, again, click Control. You can do it with any element you want, move, and again, we're gonna move it vertically. So 0 horizontal and 300 pixel vertical, and press copy. So here we go. Now we have all the side covered, and all we need to do is just place another element in the center, and we might just use this one that we couldn't use before. So I think I'm done for this pattern, and I want to show you what happens. Now, if I go into my swatch panel, I cannot see it here. So go into Window and make sure that your swatches are selected. Here they are. The traditional method is to click whatever artwork you have and drag it into your swatches, but that's not the smart way of working, because as you can see, when I'm gonna go ahead and create a shape and then apply my pattern, it's gonna look a little bit messy. It's not really following that tiled, nice, continuous pattern that we want to achieve. So I'm just gonna leave this here as an example of what we don't want, and I'm gonna show you the trick on how to create that tile, how to make sure that everything gets cropped and repeats in a good way. So I'm gonna go into my rectangle tool and click once to make sure that we have a 300 pixel, you guessed it, width, and 300 pixel in height, and click OK. So we know that we have a rectangle that is exactly the same shape as our artboard. Going to align, make sure that we align to our artboard. Again, you can find the align panel, just go into Window and make sure that align is ticked. And I'm gonna align it to the artboard vertically and horizontally. So now we have this square that is the same size of the artboard. Command Shift curly bracket on the left to bring it on the very back. I usually also go into my graphics here to make sure that the selection, which is our rectangle, really is at the very, very back. Now, as you can see, there is a pattern applied. Don't worry about it. Just click here into our little swatches. I'm gonna zoom in here to make sure that it's transparent. Is this little square with the red slant. So we want a transparent fill and a transparent stroke. And again, if we go into our graphics and we have this rectangle here, we really want it to be the layer that is at the very, very bottom. So once I am done and I make sure that I do have this rectangle, even if it's invisible, I'm gonna Again, click over and select over the entire graphic. And now I'm gonna drag these into my swatches. Simply click, select, and drag, exactly like we've done before. But look at the difference. If I'm gonna now create another rectangle and click on the new swatch, it's gonna have nice and neat pattern, and it's just gonna tile the squares like you've done before in your little artboard there. Again, you can always go back and create other ones, but what if you do want the background to be of a different color? So let's say perhaps red. Now, again, if we do select and drag it into the swatches, we're going to incur in the same problem. You can already see it from the preview. It's not looking nice and neat as we like it. So again, we're just going to have this random square because it's using the square as a graphic element. How do we solve this? Very simple. We click into our square, press Command C to copy the square, Command F to paste in place. Let's go into our little swatches here and click on None for the fill. And again, Command Shift curly bracket to bring this constraint, this transparent rectangle at the very, very bottom. And again, once we're done that, let's click and select and drag it back into the swatch. And we can already see from the swatch panel, I hope that you can have a little bit of a zoom here to see that now even the preview is telling you that this is going to be a successful pattern because, oops, just gonna click and drag to copy this rectangle. We have both the rectangle with the color layers and the transparent rectangle that gives us the constraint. So remember, once you copy on top and on the bottom and you rearrange the elements, all you have to do, no matter what size is your square, just make sure that you have a transparent shape, a transparent rectangular shape, square shape that is behind to constrain and tell Illustrator where the pattern is going to start. Time is running out. I can't believe it has gone so fast. I wanted to show you something that I created also with pattern here. I created some pillow, and this is just a pattern that I used. I love pillows, and this is something that I purely created in Illustrator, so it doesn't have to be a perfect pattern. It can be something that just, you know, maybe goes around in one line. I look forward to see what you create here with this amazing tool. And now briefly before we say goodbye and I show you the schedule, I want to go back into the layers because, as I promised, I did share with you that little square that I, in order to create my my palette for the brand. Those are simple shapes that I've drawn in Illustrator using the pencil tool. As you can see, there is also the square. So all we need to do is to select the square. You can also proceed on reverse. So you create some elements, create a square, and then go into your artboard and make sure that you click on the square in order to have that as the size of the square. So you're gonna have the artboard and the squares on the same side, same size. Click and drag into your swatch panel, and here it is. Let's apply it to our rectangle here. Click and drag, and boom, our pattern from the branding is ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this class. I can't believe it's time to go. I probably cannot even, I'm gonna jump into the schedule real quick. So we have a branding and identity coming up, XD Daily Creative Challenge with Andrea Hawk, Draw Along with Kyle T. Webster, and Voodoo Val and Chris Burassa to close the day. Remember to go into Discord in order to share your work, bit.ly/AE Discord, and unfortunately it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you enjoy patterns. Remember, you can go back and watch the replays on the behance.net/challenge/illustrator. Nice to see you here. Thank you so much for being here with me. That went super fast. I'll catch you tomorrow for challenge number 4. Bye everyone.